This is actually my auxiliary air pump used for the air leveling. So this thing is mounted underneath the coach that is supposed to replenish the airbags whenever I need to level the coach using those airbags. And we got a problem. This pump stopped working. It's 20 years old. I suppose it's time to replace or rebuild it. And I have decided to rebuild this pump because this is actually a really good pump. It's very quiet when it's in action. I have another auxiliary air pump that's bought from Amazon, and that one is about $100, and it's incredibly noisy. This one I almost can't hear it. It's in action. So here it is, and I have bought the rebuild kit. Here's the rebuild kit that you can easily buy this from anywhere. It's a little bit over $100. So the reason I decided to rebuild this pump instead of buying an exact same one is this one still works. The core of it, like the motor inside, is still working, but this pump is a little bit old, so I'm guessing some seals may be failing, and it's a little bit rusty on the outside, but that's not a big problem. And the new one is like $400 something. It's quite expensive, so I figure it's better I just rebuild it and keep using it. So here we go. I obviously have loosen up all the screws, so it will be a little bit quicker for me to show on the camera. And we got 4 screws on top here, and you're only seeing one, right? The reason is because all 3 were seized up in this case, and when I loosened this up, trying to loosen it up, it broke like here. And I'll show you. So basically you remove those 4 screws and you lift up this. You got a gasket here. This will be later replaced, but let's put this aside for now. And it has a flapper like this, and will be replaced later as well. And let me lift this up. So you would have 4 screw holes, right, in this case. And in my case, 3 of the screws here, and here were broke, and I only see a little bit sticking out like here. So for 2 of them, the broken part on top of this case is still enough for me to grab using a plier. So I just used that and slowly work it out, and it was successfully extracted. And for last one right here, it was sticking out only a tiny little bit, and that's not enough for me to grab anything. So I used the drills to drill all the way through. I tried using a screw extractor, and that did not work. It seized up really good. So I just used a drill to drill all the way through, drill this screw out altogether, and then I used a tap to retap this hole. This hole is 1024, and I happen to have a 1024 tap, so that really helped. I just retapped all the screw holes actually, just to clean up the threads. Now everything is clear, and let's keep stripping it. There is a what is this called? Cylinder liner, maybe you would call it. We also have one in this rebuild kit. This is a piston, so it will be pumping. And later I'll show you on the side. I will give you a side view so you can see better how it works. On the side here, we've got an air filter. It's a little bit old, and I just bought a replacement kit for it. This is a 1/4-inch MPT, just screwed onto this hole. And I will throw it away later. I'll throw away this altogether. And on this side here, we also got 4 screws, right? I obviously has loosened that. And just remove all the screws, and you will see a plate with a gasket, maybe. Yeah, something in the back here. And this one also will be replaced. And here we can clearly see the piston now, and the pump rotates like this, right? And then this arm will go up and down, and then thus pumping air through these holes, and this hole will be connected to some other solenoids later. So let me remove this arm and we'll start the rebuilding. Well, actually, before I do that, let me show you the rebuild kit. So here's the kit, and what we have here is this is the flapper I was talking about right here, and this one I'm not sure. Yeah, has the instruction. I'll see what it says on there. There's the instruction in there. Filter also has. Yep, this is the piston, a brand new piston. Alright, okay, let's get to it. So I want to remove this piston here. We have a little screw on the side. Actually, it's an Allen key. Can you see? Maybe we'll see better here. See, there's a hole right here. And then I want to stick my Allen wrench in there and loosen this up all the way so I can remove this piston. Looks like 1/8 inch is the right size. 1/8 of an inch Allen key, and I can stick it underneath just like that. And let me loosen it up. Okay, it locks up pretty tight there. Have to use some force to loosen it up, but it should be loose now. Just a matter of slowly, yeah, see, it's loosen up enough for me to take it out. Comes out like this. And this set screw actually need to be reused, so let me extract that all the way out. Well, it had some blue Loctite. I will also use some blue Loctite later. Here's the motor. That does not sound very good. Need some lubrication here. I'll do that later. Well, this job may be turning to a little bit bigger. As I was turning that shaft, this end of the bearing doesn't sound very good. And it goes on like this, and there's 2 screws I just removed, and slowly pried it up, and see how gunked up this bearing is. I already wiped it off a little bit using a paper towel, but you can still see there's lots of gunk in there. Let me clean this, and I'll be back. Well, here's the cleaned up version. See, all the gunk has been removed. Actually, I was wrong. There is no bearing on this side. It's just bare metal contact. But I'm going to put some grease in there so it will be a little bit better lubricated. And the grinding sound I have discovered, actually that's not from that bearing. It's actually from this contactor. So this copper brush, see? Well, there's nothing I can do about that. Just, I guess put some lubrication on this as well. That's all I can do. See here, I put some grease in there. Let me wipe off the excess, because this excess grease will attract dirt. And this pump resides on the outside of the coach. It's not put inside, it's just exposed to the elements. And that should be good. Have plenty in the middle, and the outside has been wiped off. Goes in like this. Line up those holes. Now's the time to screw the back cap back on there. Let's hear if the grinding noise is a little bit better now. Yeah, not too much difference. As I said, that's the wire brush. There is nothing I can do. Well, I'll just leave it like that. Just a little bit clean up using the wire brush. So here, this bearing, I plan to use some spray lubricant. Well, I don't think it does too much, but anyway, won't hurt for sure. Alright, soak that in. Alright, and I'll wipe off the excess here. Alright, here's the new piston and the new ring here. Brand new. Here we got some grease. So I plan to grease up this rubber like seal. I should grab some from outside, but I don't want to go another trip, so I'm just gonna use this and wipe off the excess a little bit again. See how it goes with this piston ring here. Yeah, I think it goes very smooth. Not very smooth, but a little bit smoother at least. Alright, time to hook on this. Supposed to be pretty straightforward. I need to line the keyway to that notch here on the shaft, and then find where is that set screw. Okay, here you are. Yep, I knew it was here all the time, of course. Finally, it's here. Yeah, let me use the wire brush to clean up this old thread lock a little bit. Okay, it's a little bit difficult. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it there. And I probably should pre-screw it in. Made a mistake. Probably should not use that old grease, that dirty grease. It had some dust in there. I'm wiping it off. I'll put some spray on lithium lubricant later. Let me screw this one in. I'm just going to put some blue Loctite, just like what it did before. Oh wait, it does have a set screw in there. What a mistake. Oh, it was in there, very good. Very tightly situated in there. I almost did not notice. Alright, then in that case, I'm just gonna put this onto the shaft. Well, this is the back cap. It had some rust there. I just cleaned up using the wire brush, and I still have some imprints on here, but it doesn't matter. And this is the new gasket that would fit on in the back. And I checked out this manual. Actually, you know what? It's not supposed to have a hole on the back of this cap here, like you can see here. And they use this little foam filter as the air filter. But probably the manufacturer of the motorhome, the Monaco, made this thing. Or maybe was this a special thing, but either way, we had a 1/4-inch MPT hole right here, and I will be using that instead of this little foam filter. So I need to modify this gasket a little bit. You can see here I cut a hole here so that it will fit in this little hole here, a little screw hole that will be sitting flush this gasket. Now I need to put this back cap on and screw it in. Wouldn't be too difficult to do. Okay, this should be pretty tight. And now I need to fit in this piston liner. I just sprayed some silicone lubricant on the outside so that it will go in a little bit easier. Yeah, it actually goes in very easy. Just like that, we had the piston and the piston liner. Alright, what's next? We have this little cap here in the middle. And we have the flapper and this flapper keeper in here. And I'll be removing this and replacing with the new. And let's see if we have all the gasket. Well, no, we do not have this little gasket, so I have to keep this one. Yeah, it's actually in pretty good shape still. I'll reuse this one. I had to reuse because the Rebild kit does not come with that little O-ring. Okay, looks like this one need to be cleaned up a little bit as well. I'll go wire brush this. We'll be back. Well, I'm back with the clean up parts. Now I will start the rebuild. So let me start with using this little O-ring. So I'm reusing this little O-ring, but I will put some lithium like sealant. I'll put some of this lubricant sealant on there. That should be good. And here we go. That's a little O-ring installed. Wipe off those excess. Okay. And in the back here, I also need to install this bigger O-ring. And the same thing, we'll use some lubricant all around it. Alright. And let me wipe off these excess ones. Installed. Let me put this on here. And I want to line up this groove into this cylinder liner. Go a little bit. Is this lined up? I think so. Yeah, it's lined. Yeah, I think it's lined up. Okay, just like that, we have this middle plate installed. Wait, actually, I want to put some lubricant on this lip here as well. So the reason is, as you can see, this lip and this lip is a hard contact. So there is no gasket here. I would want to see some kind of gasket, but there just does not exist. So let me just put some sealant, this lubricant sealant on the side. Again, probably won't do anything, but just to lie to myself, I guess. Got to install these flapper valve, as they call it. So this flapper goes underneath. Let me make sure I had that right. Yeah, have this little notch facing this side, and then this flapper keeper, as they call it, should go on top of this. And then there's a screw I need to put on. Let me also use the new screw, this one here. goes on just like this. Okay, got that installed as well. Just make sure again, flapper roll underneath and this keeper on top, and then this is angled up a little bit. Alright, what's next? Alright, we got this thing here, and also we have an old O-ring right here and a new O-ring here. So do the same thing, the lubricant all around it. Use my hand to evenly distribute that. Situate that inside the groove. Just put some more of that sealant and lubricant on top. That should be good. Okay, and I had this thing in the factory installed, this valve, this 90-degree facing in the back. So I should go on like this. Yeah, and the last thing to do is just screw it in. About the screw, so as I showed you, I had 4 of these screws. Only this one came out intact, and the rest 3 just stuck in there and broken apart. So what I did here is I bought 6 of these stainless steel 1024 and 3/4 inch. I figured this is 3/4 inch. Actually a little bit more than 3/4 inch, but 3/4 inch should do in this case. Let me go and screw this in. Yeah, goes in no problem. As I just clean up those screw holes with the tap, so it should go in no problem. And I will need 4 of these. Okay. Alright. We got this pump rebuild done. So just need to test it. Let me grab my power supply. I set this power supply to 13 volt, that should be fine. And let's see how it works. This one is the positive wire. As you can see, there's still some red left here. And let me hook this up to the positive side. And this is the negative side, and I want to hook up to this. See, it's working. And there is airflow in here. I know you can't see, but see? Like pretty obvious. Nice, we got this pump successfully rebuilt. So next thing is to just put it back to where it belongs. I know I didn't show you how I remove it, but I'll show you how I put it back. It's the same thing, just backwards. Alright, see, I need to go down from this side, just behind the front axle. And that's my front door, over there. Okay, here we go. Well, here we are underneath the vehicle. We are under the front of our RV. Just behind this wheel axle here, up on this floor, ceiling, which is actually the floor of inside. So we got this whole setup, and the pump just lives right here. And you got all the connectors and whatnot right here. What I will be doing now is just mount the pump to this position and then connect to all the electricals and the air lines. just like that, we got the pump physically installed. It wasn't super easy, I would say, because those screws, they had a spring in the bottom and another spring on the top. So it got be like we got this metal plate in between, so it's kind of a little bit difficult to wiggle it and make them work together. But anyway, we got that installed now. So next is to hook up these air and electrical lines. See which one goes which. This is a bigger one, so obviously this would go in here. Let's find another one. Yes, we got another hookup that goes on here. But before that, let me clean it up really well. I can't say I cleaned up really well, but at least it was brushed. Same thing on this. Okay. So here's what I'm doing. See, there's the bolt right here, the negative bolt, and I'm trying to stuck my wrench in there and tighten this, so it's taking me a little bit time. Alright, I got the electricals hooked up. So negative is on this post, positive is through this relay here, right here, and then I need to put the fuse in. See, there's a fuse holder. See, there is a fuse holder here. Okay, maybe a little bit difficult to see, but you need a fuse, and it came with a 15 amp fuse. Okay. Alright, we got the fuse in. With that, we successfully rebuilt the auxiliary air compressor and put it back into the original position. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.